Welcome back, everybody, to another business Q&A while we play some League of Legends. I'm super excited to be back here with you on a Wednesday morning, 2 days away until the Blue Jays are playing again, so excited for that too. Apparently, Riot is currently performing live network something, so we'll see if this game is working. But I got J-Rise in game with me, setting up, and I got Rishi Cup TV co-hosting with me as usual. Welcome back, Rishi.
Check it out. Check it out.
Oh, that's a lot of love there. That's some excitement in the morning. Rishi got a free cup of coffee from her Cups app, so she's pretty pumped up.
There it is.
There's the clapping.
Feeling it.
There's the clapping.
Feeling it.
I like it. What's in the cup, Rishi? Did we talk about this? No, we
Okay.
haven't yet.
No, so there's nothing in my cup right now because, as you just mentioned, I'm very excited. I have my free cup of coffee. I'm going to go to one of my favorite baristas, Honest Roast, here in Franklin, Tennessee. And yeah, so I'm going to go get whenever I go to Honest Roast, I typically always get the Cubano, which is amazing. And then today I'm feeling a cup of delirious a little bit, but it's a good thing. Just a little bit lack of sleep, which is funny because, you know, when you get delirious, you get silly, so whatever.
All right, we're in for some silly Rishi. This should be interesting.
Well, the chat is already really silly, so you might want to shut those folks out.
Okay, that's good. It's a good call. Let's read what's on my cup today from Zen T. I am beautiful. I am bountiful. I am blissful. Oh, no, not Zen T. Yogi T. Yogi T. So there you go. I am beautiful. I am bountiful. I am blissful. You got some.
Wow.
You got some believe message there happening on the Yogi T.
Are you a gazelle?
Am I a gazelle? I don't even know what that means.
When I think about a beautiful, bountiful, blissful animal, I think of a gazelle.
Wow. Rishi is hopping on her silly train a little bit today already. I've never been asked, am I a gazelle before? So we're in for a treat today, guys. We're in for a treat. I'm queuing up as jungle and Jay is support. So we're going to try to do the same. Oh no, last time I was mid. I was Heimer. So back to Timo. And yeah, let's see how we do. Yesterday, Jay had some insane plays, so I'm excited to see how this new experiment goes. Let's shout out the chat before getting started. SoulForge2453, welcome. Zano, Rishi Cup, Rise Online, Breathe Fitness, welcome. What else? Jen So Much is in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Hashtag Cup of Silliness is already trending. We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. All right. Well, let's get to our first question. What do we got?
Love it. Okay. First question is coming from from Daria. And Daria is asking. She said, "I just finished my city, urban, community, and regional planning masters. I've been in search for a full-time job but have been getting only rejections. Could you assist me on what I should do in order to land a full-time job?" All right. So I think, what's really interesting, Evan, is I think that your one-word message is something that could also be applied to the job search experience. Because from what I understand about your one word it's the difference between being a regular business to being an exceptional business, and you end up being able to charge premium prices because you really tap into not just who you are, but like what you specialize in, and it allows you to, I think, kind of set your business up for more than if you weren't being that kind of mind, if you didn't approach it with that same mindset. And I was thinking about even with the job search, because it's similar. It's like you're having to stand out in what is always a very inundated a very saturated market, and you've got to differentiate somehow. And I think that you could apply that same wisdom to the job search, because beyond being this person who has these skills and this education and this background, what is it about you that you bring to the table that is going to make you stand out? I think every one of us has something. What do you say? Genius level talent at something. And I think it comes with kind of tapping into some of the deeper questions. So I think it's a way to market yourself in the job search as well. And I think that if you're not familiar with the one word book, because I just realized I just talked about that, and she may not know what I mean. It's just tapping into kind of, Evan, what would be the way to? How would you, I don't want to say it the wrong way because it's your book.
No, that's okay. Say it however you want to say it. I'm excited.
Okay. Well, I feel like it's tapping into purpose, and I feel like that transcends any area that you want to market yourself in. So whether it's the job search or whether it's your business, like you get in touch with who you are and like what uniquely you are, how you see the world, and kind of like your genius level talent. And then if you can figure that out, you can then communicate that, in a way that will make you stand out in whatever it is you're trying to do. So that's your one word by Rishi Cup TV.
It'll turn you into a gazelle. Read this book, you'll become a gazelle. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So, for me, it's not just about getting a full-time job. It's easy to get a full-time job. It's getting the right full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of that starts with the self-awareness, and Rishi's talking about it too. And not just the marketing of yourself, but understanding yourself and what you really want. And really having a clear picture of what it is that you want to do is super helpful. The kind of people that you want to be around, the kind of business that you want to work for. I'm the guy typically telling people to go start their own business, but I have respect and appreciate the people who, don't want to be entrepreneurs. But what kind of business do you want to go work for? Like, do you want to just wake up every day and punch a clock, or do you want to go do something meaningful? And so finding a job where you feel like you're contributing and you're, learning as well. Like the main reason to get a job is to learn. If you don't ever want to go learn and then start a business, then it's to learn and to contribute, to feel like the work you're doing is making a difference. So that's super important at the start. If you then have that awareness, and you can find out what companies, best fit that description. There's probably a couple that are, in your area that sound like they might be a good fit. I would rather take a lower paying job with less responsibilities at a company that I really want to work for than a higher paying job at a company that is just okay. Because great companies recognize people and they recognize talent. And if you are in, sweeping floors at a company, being a part of the ecosystem and doing a great job, you'll start to get promoted, right? They'll recognize talent, start to get involved, ask for more projects, volunteer to be on things, get involved and get as close to the, higher level people there as much as possible. And no company is going to say, no, you know what, you're working too hard. Don't do that, right?
Yeah.
So try to get involved in as much as possible and show that you're great. And you'll rise up so much faster. You'll get so many more promotions and start to do the work that is really, really meaningful to you. And that can happen really quickly, but you've got to show up and do the work, right? And so there was a video we did pretty recently on an espresso with Conan O'Brien. I think it might have even been yesterday.
I think it was.
About getting into the arena. You have to get into the arena. And he was talking about something similar where, like, even if you're a janitor, you know, like, take any kind of job at the place that you want to be, so you're hanging around the right people. Oh, I missed my Krugs. You need to be in that arena and not just talk about it. And so I would much rather take a crappy job working for somebody that I feel I'm learning a lot from and I'll be able to grow and contribute with than one where I'm already at the top. You know, there's no room for growth for me. And you will stand out to those people too if you're aligned, right? If I'm hiring and you're all about, you know, believing in entrepreneurs, you know, you have you don't have a guaranteed shot of getting the job, but you got a pretty good in. And so I think that's what, you know, if you have that self-awareness to know what you want to go out and do, you'll stand out a lot more with your potential, with the potential person interviewing you, and then just get any kind of job you can there, and then hustle your face off. That's it. But getting a full-time job, like, just getting a full-time job should not be the goal. You need to get a job, and it may be, you know, that may be an obvious thing, but for some it may not be too. And it wasn't in the question. It's just, how do I get a full-time job? So make sure that's something that you feel you're going to learn from and be able to contribute to at that business, because you deserve to be doing something where you can contribute your genius level talent to. That's it. Good luck.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. Cool. Well, we have a question from the chat today.
All right. I love the questions from the chat.
Yeah. So this is actually our question from yesterday. Adrian Harlett.
Welcome back, Adrian.
Yeah, welcome back. She says, my question my question was kind of answered yesterday, but I will ask anyway.
Okay.
Okay, you suggest frequently to find an entrepreneur doing what you want to do and ask if you can work with them to learn.
Right.
Example, if you want to start a restaurant, go to a small restaurant and work with them. So she's saying, I would like to be a YouTuber. So how does that apply? Any suggestions? She does dairy style vlogs, and I think her concept, she hasn't started yet, but her concept is like dairy style vlogs and interviews.
What's a dairy style
vlog? I guess maybe vlogs on a dairy farm, or about dairy products?
Maybe daily. Maybe daily. It was the L and the R are far away from each other.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're probably right.
Okay, so daily vlogs. Okay, that's fine.
Daily vlogs and interviews. I would like to expand those ideas and don't have my channel started yet. This is a good question, because I remember when I was first starting out on YouTube, I had a similar idea of like, it'd be cool to work with another YouTuber in my local area so I could kind of get a sense for what it's about. I never did follow up on that idea, but it's, I think one of the things that might be a challenge is, number one, finding someone locally, but two, it has to be a YouTuber that is full-time and can, afford to have a team. So you could work for them, unless you're willing to volunteer. But I know like Tim Schmoyer and all the other full-time YouTubers, Evan and everyone else, they have teams, so you'd want to. And I know you. I don't know if there's a place, Evan, for YouTubers that go full-time YouTubers that go to hire people. Like I know you use Upwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's kind of like the place to be when full-time YouTubers end up hiring, because I know Tim uses that as well. But it would be nice to know, like, is there a place where you could find jobs with other YouTubers that I don't know, just a thought. But I don't think that does exist. So another idea would be to try to start a meetup group or something in your area where you can try to find ways of networking with other YouTubers. Now, I'm not saying you have to go find a job with another YouTuber. I think you can do a lot on your own, but if you are really interested in finding another YouTuber that you could potentially work with, I mean, I would start maybe with like meetup groups and trying to network and find other YouTubers in your local area. But yeah, chances are, I don't know how likely that will be to, because you might find a YouTuber, but then they might be in an industry that you're not interested in. So it's a little bit more tricky. What do you think, Evan?
Yeah, I think people are hiring in a lot of different ways. I introduced him to Upwork before he was hiring people. He likes having somebody local that he can connect with. So I think there's definitely a different range where some people prefer, still doing, even though it's an online business, people still prefer doing it locally too. Just depends on, my team is mostly remote, but it doesn't mean that you can't get a remote job too. I think honestly your best bet is going to be hanging around virtually the people that you like. I honestly don't think you're going to get a lot of results from a meetup group, because most of the people who go to a meetup group don't have a full-time gig on YouTube. They're not doing it. Just from my experience with meetup groups, most of the people who show up there are not they're interested in learning something new, but they're not hitting hard. Like a lot of the full-time entrepreneurs, it's hard to find them because they're not off networking and like they're busy running their businesses for the most part. I think your best bet is going to be hanging around virtually, like the people who are the vlogs that you watch, that you love, that you look up to, whoever it is, and stalk them. Follow them on social, follow them obviously on their channels, get as involved as you can in being in their comments in their community, and wait for opportunities, or present your own opportunities. I think of Gary Vaynerchuk, and if you guys ever watch his stuff, he has a video guy named D-Rock who follows him around and shoots video, and that was just one of his fans. That was just one of his fans who hung around and contacted him and said, "Hey, I have this idea for something that we can do," and he started off doing one free movie for Gary, right? A lot of times people may not be ready to hire somebody for this role full time, and even just contributing, volunteering, being a part of it helps. And then he did a first video which was called Clouds and Dirt, and Gary loved it, and he saw the value now in doing this on a more regular basis, and ended up hiring D-Rock on full time. Oh, they're doing Dragon. Very sad. Very sad. I don't think I can get in there. Nope. We're gonna lose our first dragon. All right, keep going. I'm trying to think if I've ever hired that way. I don't think I have. Although, like, I hired my web designer as an example. Not my web designer. My, I'm gonna die too. Very sad. I hired my, what's not a designer? He's where I host. My server guy, where my website is hosted. From a guy who came out to my seminars consistently. His name was Ed.
Oh, nice.
And, he was in my circle. I think people, first off, think about people who they are connected to somehow. So he was in my circle, he was coming out to my seminars. I was doing these seminars to raise money for entrepreneurs in Africa. And he was there, and I learned about his business, and I saw an opportunity. I think about the people that we hire at Toronto Dance Salsa. A lot of them are current students. and we see a lot of opportunity in them and say, hey, have you thought about being an instructor? We'd like to train you. So it depends on how active you want to be on it. You could be just hanging around and waiting for an opportunity, and when somebody says, hey, I'm trying to hire for this position, you're one of the first ones in and you're a super fan, and they're much more likely to hire somebody who is familiar with their work. Or you could start pitching and preparing, presentations for the people that you really look up to and respect. Pitch an idea. Pitch doing the first one for free. See if it works.
Yeah.
Again, the experience is more important than the money, especially at the start. And so, you might otherwise have to pay to get that kind of education. So, as a worst case, you're doing it for free to start, and then building up your knowledge base from there. And if they're building a business and they recognize the talent you have and it's really contributing to what they're doing, then they're going to want to hire you to do more. So that's what I got.
Yeah. Hope that helped. And we have a question from Optosource Book from yesterday as well.
Cool. And actually, Adrian, you're watching live, so if there's anything, if you need a follow-up, if that doesn't quite make sense, then let me know.
Absolutely. So let us know in the chat if that was good for you, Adrian Harlett. All right, so Optosource Book has a question. Her question is, I don't know if we talked about this yet, but what do you do when someone says a lot of negativity on one of your replies? I answered someone's comment and another smashed me. Oh, did that hurt? I said something positive and someone came back with a knife in my back. Ook. Yeah. It's funny how that works. When you put something out there positive and someone comes to just beat it down, and it does hurt. But just don't really think there's much you can do about how other people are going to react. I think the first thing I would just say, share Optosource Book, Sherry, is don't let it keep you, number one, from continuing to be who you are, which is someone who's really positive. And I know for me, the challenge when you are being yourself and if someone comes and just kind of shames you or whatever, it's like the challenge is to kind of pull back, withdraw, and not continue to be generous with who you are. And I know that's easier said than done, but I just encourage you to continue to just, contribute in a positive way in comments and that sort of thing. You can't control what other people do. If the person continues and doesn't stop kind of being a bully, block them, report them, I don't know, whatever you feel you need to do to set a boundary. But I hope that you continue to be yourself and be positive. I don't know if that was helpful, but what do you think, Evan?
So was it a comment on her own channel? I didn't get that part.
I think it was a comment on someone else's.
She's leaving a comment on somebody else's channel.
Well, let me ask her to clarify because I don't want to get it wrong. But she said I answered someone's comment and another smashed me. So I don't know whose comment it was.
Oh, there's a big fight happening. We got a kill, friends. We got a kill. All right.
Nice.
Timo is in the game. Timo is in the game. Okay, so there's a couple things here. First, if you stand for something important, you're going to have people who are going to try to tear you down. It's just what it is. It sucks, but it is what it is. And having learning to not care what other people think, I think, is an important muscle to start to try to develop. Oh, dragon in. Dragon. Let's get some assistance over here. Stressful game here. Learning to not care what other people think of you. Because if you are constantly ruled by the opinions and judgments of other people, like if this prevents you from spreading more love and helping other people out, then you're not going to continue, right? You're going to stop spreading love, which would be a big injustice to the world. If you start doing things because somebody else said that, it's a good thing, and you're only doing it because they said so, or you stop doing something because somebody feels it's stupid. Like, how many comments I get of people thinking that I'm doing something stupid? I shouldn't be doing this. It's constant. It's daily. I get negative comments on the channel. Now, there's a lot more positive than negative, but we always seem to focus on, the one negative instead of the 10 positive that we get. So, perfectly timed. I'm taking heat. Okay, perfect. I'm out. Thank you. So, like, you had good intentions with that comment, right? You're trying to help somebody out. Maybe they recognized it. Maybe they didn't recognize it. That was a really bad play by my teammate. But the intention was always good. And sometimes, sometimes despite your best intentions, you still can't help the person. There's a great quote, I forget who said it, just basically talking about, I freed 1,000 slaves, but I could have freed more if they knew they were slaves.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
I freed 1,000 slaves, I could have freed more if they knew they were slaves. Right? So despite your best intentions, some people are still just not going to get it.
So true.
And that's fine. It doesn't mean you stop. It means you keep going, because there's going to be other people to help, or maybe that same person will have a realization in their life and that what you said was correct. If it was on your own channel, you have the ability to block people if they're really causing a nuisance. So that's an option. But if it's on somebody else's channel, you don't have that. So I agree with Rishi's suggestion of, like, hopefully this doesn't stop you from doing more of this kind of work and helping, continuing to want to help people. But at the same time, being less ruled by the opinions and judgments of other people, because if that's the lens through which you are now making decisions, then you're never going to do the thing that you're supposed to be doing. And often it's, this maybe isn't part of her question here, but often it's the people closest to us who hold us back. Often it's the people closest to us who tell us that our idea is crap, and that, who are we to go off and do this thing. And again, if you don't do something because, your dad or your boyfriend or your, whoever tells you that it's a stupid idea, then you're never going to do great things, because you're only living your life through somebody else's eyes, and that's never the way to do it. So getting used to not rejection, but getting used to not caring. Getting used to not caring what somebody else thinks, I think, is an important skill for everybody to learn.
And I think, I think one of the things that's helped me get to the place of not caring is owning when it really hurts. Like, sometimes I can't get to the place of, like, I don't care until I first say, dag, that, like, hurt my feelings big time, and, like, I'm mad. I am sad. And once I've gotten that, once I kind of acknowledge, like, that really hurt my feelings, and for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because I'm tired, I don't know if it's because I'm grumpy, whatever, like, it hurt. And then once I, acknowledge it, it's quicker to pass. is what I've experienced, you know?
Yeah, I mean, understand that these people's lives suck. Right? Well, like, a little bit of empathy too. Like, you're feeling bad for your situation and you're trying to help, but like, imagine how messed up your life has to be to get satisfaction from just hating on people and trolling people online. Like, how messed up does your situation have to be? And so, if anything, it's feeling sorry for them, and trying to put a face, like, who could make such a stupid comment? You know, what their life story, you know, must be like. And it doesn't mean that they're justified or it's still the right thing to do, but it helps maybe reduce the sting. Like, if somebody calls one of my videos stupid or tells me I shouldn't express myself in the way I want to on my videos, I just try to think about, you know, sometimes they have good intention, it's just their opinion. Sometimes they don't have the full story. Sometimes they're just trolls and they have a crappy life. And I don't, like, the longer I spend worrying about this, the more I'm dragged down into their crappy life, and I don't want to have a life like that.
Yeah.
So, those are my thoughts.
Great.
Woo! I died.
Yeah, and we got a lot of people just giving some cool feedback as well in the chat. Just Damasta saying, ignore the negative, just send a smile emoji and say thank you. Soul Forged, those people will do much less in life than you will. And then Zeno says, the internet a lot of the time seems to be a source of negativity. It's just easy to hide, easy to hate and hide behind a username. So that's the truth. Oh, I'm seeing a grayed out screen.
Yeah, I died.
But I'm delayed.
No, I'm died. I'm back now, but
sad.
I was dead. I'm 2-2. The team was losing pretty hard, so I don't know. This is gonna be a tough one. Gonna be a tough one.
All right.
See how we do. Clap it up. We need some Rishi silliness to carry us through.
Yes, I'm feeling that I haven't had my little cup of coffee now. All right, next question is coming from Melanie Ray.
All right.
Yeah, and Melanie says, hi, Evan. Your content has already helped me so much. It's so inspiring. I'm feeling really excited to be a part of Believe team. Super cool, Melanie. We're excited to have you. I do have a question. She's doing the marketing for a independent self-help book.
Okay.
And the book is, it was born out of the author going through really tough breakdown, and he documented the journey retrospectively about how he picked himself back up, but also about how we can find happiness in our lives. There's a strong psychological undertone in the book, which looks at how blockages, you know, things like blockages and I guess what she kind of means that is like maybe limiting beliefs or things like that. I believe that this book resonates a lot with many of your philosophies and your followers. We see mental illness statistics rising dramatically, and we need to address these feelings. So back to my question, I was wondering if it were at all possible to send you a copy of the book. I really do feel that you will resonate with it, and if you do, perhaps you could give us a review that we could use for the book. So, Evan, I don't think I can answer this one because it looks like it's directly to you.
Yeah, best bet is if you watch any of my mail time videos, I have the address. It's the Toronto Dance Salsa address, and there I accept If you have anything that you want to send, I accept it there, and feel free to fire it off, and we'll see what happens. I can tell you I have a lot of books on my plate, so I may not get to it in the near future, but send it along, and you never know what may happen. Maybe it'll catch my attention, and I'll be like, I got to read this thing. So a lot of that's a process for a lot of people. Whether they're dishing out like galley copies. The galley copy is a advanced version of a book.
Okay.
Or if you already have the book published and you're trying to get it out. Usually it's like an advanced copy if you're trying to get reviews and stuff.
Okay.
What I would think about doing too, though, is I thought about for my book too, like your best bet for getting reviews are people that you know or kind of know, or people that you've helped out in some way. And a lot of book reviews aren't even about the book; it's just about the person. And that's a trick from Ryan Holiday, who had Tim Ferriss recommend his book, but Tim didn't read the second book. It was just a quote about Ryan Holiday, like Ryan makes you think, or something along those lines. So if you make it the quote about you instead of about the book itself, then they don't have to have read it to actually give you the quote. So maybe even be an old client that you've worked with, or somebody else in your network who's said nice things about you, that you can ask, hey, do you mind if I use this on the jacket of my book? So a couple of ideas there. But yeah, for anybody who wants to send me stuff, I can't guarantee that I'm going to like it, and I only talk about things that I like. But if you're a fan of the channel and you think you know what I like, then send it along, and I'll open it up, and then that's your shot. You got a shot in. Let's see if you let's see how well you do.
Make an impact.
Make an impact.
Right.
And don't just use me. Like, do it. Maybe I don't resonate with the message, but I'm sure other people might. So don't put everything into like just having me say yes. Connect with other influencers, other people as well, to get their feedback and endorsements. That being said, let me just add one more thing on that. Endorsements don't really mean that much to books. I was urged multiple times by my publisher and the people who helped me with my book that, you connect with some people, you can get a couple, but it doesn't really make a huge difference. It's much better would have me tell my audience, man, that's a great book, than just to have me say something for the back of the book. So what Tim Ferriss did when he was launching the 4-Hour Work Week was he would connect with people that he thought would be relevant and helpful, and that might mean like going to a conference or an event and trying to ask them a question, and then would send them a copy of the book, and only do it with I almost died, I got one kill. Send them a copy of the book and then highlight what passage he thought would be most relevant to them. So it's like a sticky note or whatever, just something to say, hey, I thought chapter 3 would be especially relevant to you because of XYZ, right? So if there's something about believe somewhere in there, tag it with a little sticky note so that I can go there first, and that's a message that I'm going to resonate quickly with. So doing that in general could be a great idea when you're connecting with influencers, not expecting them to read the whole book right at the start, but direct them right to the thing that's most relevant to them. And then if they like it, if there's that's a really cool message, then I'm going to want to read the rest of it, right? So most people will skim something at the start, and if you can direct where you're skimming them instead of hoping they land on the appropriate page, you're much more likely to find success.
Yeah. And are you an audiobook guy, or you like to read more? With the book or the?
Yeah, I'm a video guy first. I've started doing a little bit more. I've tried to plan out in my schedule to have at night before going to bed, just like pick up a book and read just before going to sleep. But I will consume way more video content than reading or like physical content, and I don't do audiobooks at all. I'm too much of a visual person, so at least reading it, I can see the words, and that helps me. But just hearing the words, it's not. I don't consume it well. I need to see it. That's just my learning style. It's fine. Even when I'm meeting somebody, Alex wants me to review an email that he's sending out. If he reads the email to me, I'm not gonna digest it. Like, okay, just show me. Like, send it to me, and I'll look at it.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. So, yeah. But I get it. Like, people have, at the same time, the audiobook was one of the most requested things that we had. So,
yeah.
I just understanding your own learning style. If you send me guys an audiobook, though, I'm probably not going to listen to it. So, just fair warning. If you have options, send me the video or send me the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I got.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Next question is coming from. This name is gonna have to. Let me be patient with me. Kiboleste.
I like it.
Yeah, so Kiboleste, his question is, I want to start a business. I don't understand where to start. All right, so we get this question a lot, and I'm thinking I wanted to give something new, but I think the first thing that you want to start thinking about Kiboleste is value, which we are always talking about. What is the value that you want to give? Because I think every successful business just starts with someone who sees something that they want to contribute that they feel is missing. They see a gap someplace, and they want to fill that gap, and they are passionate about making sure that that gap gets filled. Sometimes it's realizing you want to scratch your own itch, a need that you yourself have that you want to improve, not just for yourself, but for others. So if you haven't even started thinking about that, I would start there. And another thing that you could be thinking about is that, businesses are usually product-based or service-based. So do you see yourself being in a product-based business or a service-based business, or both? So there's so many things there's so many ways to answer this question, but I think that's the best way to start, and then you got to just start. So, be curious to hear, Evan, what new things you want to say about this.
I liked everything you said there, Rishi. I think though, understand that there's no perfect first step. Like, so many people are afraid of making a mistake or not doing the right first thing that they don't get started, where that's the biggest mistake of all. You need to start. And it doesn't mean you go out and take a loan and, quit your job and that's how you start. It's a small start. It's researching. It's, figuring out what your product or service is. It's all the stuff Rishi was talking about. But I think just addressing the mindset and the mentality first, to make sure that you're not just not doing it because you're afraid of doing the wrong first step. So many people are perfectionists and they don't know what the first step is, and so they don't do anything. And again, that's the worst thing that you can do. So yeah, I don't know what else I know we've talked about this a lot. It's like, what's the best way to reach out to somebody and ask for help? Well, okay, there's like specific tactics, but again, there's no perfect thing. You gotta you gotta do it. You gotta also, like, don't worry about having the perfect plan and get out and execute. I think we're gonna lose. Looks like we're gonna lose this game, guys. It's very sad.
No.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. I did okay. I could have done better, but oops, GG. You know, business is at the end of the day about providing value and doing something that you're meaningfully attached to, something that you love doing. I don't know if you already have your idea or not. Let me see. GG. So I went four kills, 3 deaths, and 1 assist. J-Rise was 1 kill, 6 deaths, 4 assists. But the team was not doing well. So anyway, that's okay. Yeah, I don't know what else I can add there. I think just making sure that you have, making sure that you start. Just make a plan and every day do something. Just even if you don't know what to do yet, spending half an hour to an hour every day just doing something. And the something, you know, you'll suck at the start, but if you want to learn to snowboard, you have to go down the hill. You know, and you can read and watch videos and buy the gear and do all this stuff to get ready to go snowboarding, but you don't actually snowboard till you go down the hill. Right? You got to get on the hill.
Yeah.
Where so many people are just, okay, I gotta find the right books, and I gotta find my mentor, and I need to watch all the videos, and I need to buy the best. Like, what goggles should I buy, and what's the helmet that I need to have? Because if I fall, I want to make sure that's not gonna hurt myself. And it's like, you got to get on the hill, right? And it's not just go out and, you know, be naked and just tumble down the hill, right? You know, those things are important too. You need to have a board, but spending so much time just figuring stuff out and then you don't actually do anything. I think that's a lot of people. And anyway, I guess that's the direction I chose to take with this question. But good luck. I'm excited. Like, it's good. You should go out and do something, you know. So get on the hill. Get on the hill.
Yeah, and for the love of God, if you're going to snowboard for the first time, don't start with delirium dive.
Don't start with what?
Delirium dive. It's basically a extreme mountain in Canada. Like,
oh, okay.
I just Googled like scariest places to like ski or snowboard. So just start small. Don't do your first snowboarding run on Delirium Dive in Sunshine Village, Canada.
All right. What province is that?
What?
What province? Sunshine Village. Where is that in Canada? Sunshine Village.
Sunshine Village, Banff. Banff.
Oh, Banff. Okay.
BANFF.
Okay. Yeah, it's out west. Yeah. Cool. All right, well, Rishi, what's our message of the day you want to leave people on?
Well, if you're wanting to start something new, YouTuber, entrepreneur, just start. And if you are already out there and you are in your business and you're already on YouTube, don't stop. Cup of don't stop.
Cup of don't stop. I like it. Cool. Well, thank you guys for joining. Hope you have an awesome day. Go out and crush whatever you're working on. Wednesday. It's not hump day. Wednesday is awesome day. Wednesday is video day. Wednesday is you only got, 2 more days after this before the weekend comes. So you got to go out and do something important. So have an awesome Wednesday. Continue to believe, or whatever your one word is, and we'll see you soon.